Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Higher or Lower, brought to you by oddschecker, Sporting Index and SpreadX. This is the show where we look ahead to the weekend's football and say if we think the results of the spread betting markets will be higher or lower than the midpoint. I'm your host, George Ellick, delighted to be joined by our expert guest, Jack Wright, and our other guest, Dan Worth.
Hello, mate.
Got to find different ways to introduce you.
Yeah, of course.
And bring you down.
Yeah, start off strong.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Dry January over for you.
Oh, well over.
Even though it's only the 30th of January.
Yeah, it didn't last, mate. When you watch what I watched on Saturday, you need to have a drink after a team play like that.
When you went into Leyton Orient Reading,
yes.
Were you planning on breaking dry Jan afterwards?
Very much the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, from the outset, no drinking today. It's going to be a nice, lovely afternoon at Orient, close to where I live.
Yeah.
Close
to where I live.
Walk back.
Yeah.
No need to go in any pubs. Terrible performance. Horrific result.
Which pub did you go to?
I went to the Chesham Arms.
Lovely.
Which is very lovely.
Very near where I used to live, yeah.
Is it? Yeah, It's a nice little spot around there.
A matter of, yeah, anyway. Yeah, and then you went wine tasting, so you've really fallen off the wagon here. Whereas, Jack, you never got on it.
No point. Don't set yourself up to fail, that's what I always say. Have a unit for every goal you score.
Please drink responsibly.
Absolutely, and gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
Nice haircut, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I basically said I'm done with hair.
No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's
Well,
still
no,
there.
I went in, it was actually after we recorded last Thursday. I went in and I said, they were like, what do you want? And normally I'm like, well, I just said, please get rid of it.
Yeah.
They're like, all of it. And I was like, no, keep a little bit. I'm done with it. The only annoying thing is, if you have short hair, does that mean you have to get a haircut the whole time?
Yeah, or you let it get to this horrible.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Surely, if you're done with hair, it's a charity shaving on the cards
Well,
for you.
you can't do a charity head shave.
No,
when
no,
you've got no hair.
In 3 months' time, we definitely can. End of season shave.
Then I've got to grow it again. Like, my whole thing is I'm done with it now. Anyway, we higher or lower 2 weeks till I get my next haircut. Definitely higher. I'll forget. I'll have stupid hair again pretty soon. Starting with Nottingham Forest hosting Brighton. Forest reeling after a 5-0 defeat against Bournemouth last time out. Brighton reeling after a 1-0 home defeat against David Moyes' Everton. So, yeah, two teams that need a victory. We're looking at total goal minutes for SpreadX here. 141 is the midpoint. This is the cumulative minutes that goals are scored within the game. So lower is lots of goals. So lower is fewer goals and early goals. Higher is lots of goals and late goals. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, all in.
Oh, I'm a little surprised, actually.
Me too.
Well, it's just low line, isn't it, really? That's kind of, you've got to play the line, not the game. And 141, I'd say 141 in basically any Brighton game feels like it's an overs.
Yeah. What's your favourite adjective for a 5-0 defeat? Because I think it
Thumping.
Thumping.
Yeah,
Although I would say this one was like a flattering.
It was.
Yeah.
It was very flattering.
Yeah.
Flattering rather than a flattening. And yours is thumping?
I was going to say thumping, yeah.
Yeah, it's thumping and thrashing.
Yeah, thrash.
Yeah, thrash or thump. Anyway, yeah, it was always interesting. So, yeah, they had a 5-0 thrashing. Nuno said it was a bit of a warning, but I actually think the game before should have been the warning, where they were 3-0 up against Southampton and nearly threw it all away. 3-2 it ended up, didn't it? But there was that brilliant goal line clearance right at the death, which would have made it 3-3. So they didn't take that warning, so maybe they'll take this one. But yeah, 5 goals conceded. As I say, it was a little bit flattering for Bournemouth. I think the XG was a lot closer than what obviously the final scoreline was. But yeah, I just feel that as Brighton are playing, there's generally goals that follow. So Forest are decent defensively, have been good defensively. But they're playing Brighton side, have scored multiple times in 4 of their last 5 away games. And I think they've got the tools to hurt Forest. Forest, I think, a little bit unbalanced with the fact that Callum Hudson-Odoi is injured, Elanga's gone the other side, and it's just kind of just disjointed them a little bit. But yeah, I think Brighton, we said attack-wise decent, but defensively, I always give you a chance. 1 clean sheet in the last 8 road trips in the Premier League. I think both teams get on the score sheet here. And there's a good chance that there'll be late goals. As you say, low line, so we don't need an awful lot for this to come in. So yeah, higher for me.
Dan?
Yeah, much the same, to be honest. I mean, in the good run of form that Forest have had, everyone has been saying, when will they drop off or will they drop off? They now have to prove that it isn't going to happen after that result. So, they're always going to be bang up for every game, but definitely this game.
Are they?
Well, Yeah, you tell me.
I don't know. I don't
maybe. Who knows? Not me.
Yeah.
You mentioned goals in Brighton games. There's quite often goals when these two play each other.
Here we go.
Over 2.5 in 6 of the last 7. But more relevant, 2-2 when they last met, making up 171 here.
Nice.
Much like Jack, I think both teams score. So, as you said, it's a low line, and when you think both teams are going to score, got to take it on.
Was it 3-2 last season as well? Here. Well, not here, but...
No, not here. I don't have that in front of me, but I trust you.
George will come up with it. It's fine. He's got it up his sleeve. I just warmed him up.
I don't know. But I think there's... I've sat here a lot and spoken about, like, it's Nuno's Forest. He's an expert at bringing goals down in games. And I've come unstuck with that a lot because even though Forest have been very good for the most part this season, generally one team in their games tends to score quite a few goals. And for the most part, it's been Forest. And they put 3 past Saints in the 3-2 win. They put 3 past Wolves in the 3-0 win. They put 3 past United in the 3-2 win too. So, like, they're playing their part in these games. And certainly from a defensive point of view, even though I agree with you that it wasn't a 5-0 game by any stretch, they still shipped 5 last time out up against a Brighton side who we know are very capable. I think Forest being priced up as a team who don't concede many and don't score many, when actually in reality they kind of do. So, yeah, I mean, this, if you said to me, like, Forest-Brighton, goals or no goals, irrespective of odds and lines and everything else, I'd say probably low goals. But 1-4-1 is a mighty low line. So happy to get on the upside of it.
I haven't got the stats to back this up, but I feel Forest have been scoring relatively early in a lot of their games, which then is perfect for the game state. It opens it up, doesn't it? And you then see more goals, and obviously a side that are going to be chasing it towards the end as well. And so they conceded late goals against Southampton, scored them early, conceded them late. And I say with this line, it doesn't need a lot, does it? Like, for a couple of goals in the last 20, 25 minutes of the game, and it's line hit. So yeah, it's a very appealing.
It is very appealing indeed. Next game we're going to be covering is Wolves hosting Aston Villa. Ooh. Bit of spice between these two. Yeah, you on the cards? Is that a nap? Okay. Total goals is the line here. Villa obviously fresh off a pretty dramatic night in the Champions League where they secured their top 8 spot in what I think was a night which showcased that this isn't a very good format, personally.
Ooh, that's quite controversial, I'd say.
Is it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have argued that showed that it is a good format.
There was like no jeopardy last night. Going into the last 10 minutes, the only thing that could have happened was Atalanta scoring against Barcelona. Yeah, and that would have meant Atalanta and Villa swap places. Apart from that, it was all done.
Yeah, Bruges and City had a little bit of jeopardy.
Yeah. City at half time, City were in trouble, and then they went 3-1 up, and it was like, that's done.
Yeah,
it was bad. Bring it back. I think give
man of nostalgia.
Give the EFL trophy the Swiss format. They can have a go at that, and then give everything else the normal one.
Get rid of the EFL trophy.
You said not me. Anyway, yeah, Villa played Wednesday night, beat Celtic 4-2. Morgan Rogers with a hat-trick. Ollie Watkins and John Duran both being linked to moves. Interesting. Wolves, their new manager Bounce has seemingly gone through the floor. 3.1 is the midpoint. The spread X here. Higher or lower, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we hadn't done that bit. Oh, here we go.
Wow.
Dan the man, the magic man.
Mate, this is just vibes for me, honestly. I've got no stats here. I think the game that you mentioned last night...
No stats? None?
0.
You've been here since 7:30. What have you been doing?
Yeah, doing other work.
Right.
Quite frankly.
You should go on whoscored.com. Loads of stats on
I should. Yeah. I mean, I've got it open here, so I could just do a couple clicks. But I think the game last night will have taken quite a lot out of Villa. Don't think they were expecting to be pegged back to 2-2 after going 2-0 up early, and had to work probably a little bit harder than they thought for that win that they desperately needed. It's obviously a local clash. Is this a derby? I don't know. Yeah. Villa fans care more about Birmingham, I would have thought, but
I would say this is still pretty significant.
So I think that probably adds to the tightness of this game, which suggests that there might be slightly fewer goals. I'm also really intrigued by the transfer rumours that you mentioned with Duran and Watkins both linked. Surely they don't both go.
Well, not before. You wouldn't think before the weekend.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Duran's
exactly.
Pretty much gone, and he's on a flight to Saudi right now, isn't he?
Is he?
Well, straight after the game,
It's such a shame that, doesn't it?
77 million, I think, has been agreed, and he's what, 20? How old is he?
Do you reckon he wants to go? Do you reckon he wants?
I think so. Well, yeah, I think he's fancies the salary for probably 3 years, and then he's still only going to be like 24 if he does go. And I know what you're saying, but at the minute he's a bench player. He's been linked with West Ham. You mentioned it only, was it last week?
Yeah.
You were going, well, what's the point of that? So he's now got to go to Saudi, earn £300 million a week, and
it's all right, isn't it?
set himself up for life and come back at 24.
What's it like earning that much money?
Don't know what to do.
It's a bind. It's a bind.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the transfer situations obviously plays into this. I mean, there is a fair chance you have to think that neither Duran and Watkins are going to be available because it sounds like Villa are very keen not to sell Ollie Watkins, but we are 3-4 days shy of the window closing, and if Arsenal make them an offer, or if Watkins decides himself, and there was a moment I did notice yesterday when Rodgers put Villa 2-0 up. And Watkins was the nearest player to him, and rather than running off with it, he did get there eventually. He kind of didn't celebrate and went off and picked up the ball, and it wasn't quite as euphoric as everyone else. I'm sure there's nothing in it. I'm sure he'll probably stay, at least until the summer. But there is a chance he doesn't play, which obviously stunts Villa. Also, Villa coming off a European exploit often can be a bit undercooked. Wolves not looking great from an attacking point of view. Obviously, defensively they're poor, but with this just over 3, meaning that 3 goals is enough to get us over the line, I'm pretty happy to take that.
Yeah, same. I think it's down to the strikers. You mentioned that. Cunha, of course, has been heavily linked throughout the window. We thought he was going to be the striker that was going to go. He's probably going, hang on, Arsenal wanted me. What's going on? Why are you suddenly after Ollie Watkins? So they've also got Larson out as well, who's been scoring a decent amount of goals. He certainly gets in good opportunities, but I think he links play up well for him, so that's a big miss. I just feel this might well be a bit disjointed. So that kind of hangover for Villa from the European nights, which they've suffered all season. Yeah, it was 3-1 in the reverse, but the previous 4 meetings before that have gone lower than this line. The last 4 Wolves home games have gone lower as well. And so Villa have been poor away. They picked up a couple of half-decent results away from home the last 2. The 2-2 draw at Arsenal was the first in 6 to go higher on the road. So, to me, this all points towards plenty of scope lower than 3.10.
Lovely stuff. Right, third game on the card. Brentford hosting Tottenham. Ange Postecoglou seemingly waved goodbye to Tottenham off the back of the defeat on the weekend, but he's still in situ. Interesting. Brentford games at home tend to see quite a lot of goals. Tottenham games tend to see quite a lot of goals.
They do.
First match goal is the mark we're looking at here. So the time at which the first goal is scored in. 28.5 is the midpoint
line
here. So, yeah, lower, you need a goal in the first 28 minutes. Higher, 0-0 as the clock hits 28. 3, 2, 1.
Who put this together?
Anyone got any stats?
I've got a couple.
You must have stats.
Go on.
Firstly, much like a Flow Rider song, this line is low, low, low.
Oh, no.
No?
That's the end.
I mean, it is. It is very low.
28.5.
That's probably the lowest we've had.
I'm surprised you used that Flow Rider song. I thought you'd have been...
He's probably got others that are...
Do you know why it's called Flow Rider?
Is he from Florida?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Maybe I'm making myself out to be a super fan here, which is not... I'm not.
What?
I'm not. Yeah, goals and early goals. I've used this stat on almost every episode of this we've done this season, but Spurs have scored the most goals.
I do wonder why you keep putting
minutes.
Spurs first match goal in.
I reckon if you looked at all of the episodes we've done, including last season, Spurs first match goal, most popular pick from me.
Yeah.
Because there's early goals in Tottenham games.
Yep.
So it hopefully makes
ends.
it an easy pick. Exactly. Spurs come into this with, well, I don't even know if they've got any players to field. So, and Brentford...
That's going to be tough to score.
No, well, they don't need to, because Brentford love to score early as well. Spurs have scored 18 in the first half hour this season, which is right up the top. Brentford, 15. Both teams love scoring early on, so I have to go lower there.
Class, yeah. I mean, this just seems... I mean, Brentford goals at home has been something to follow all season. With Spurs, there's just no way they're going to change their approach to the game. It's obviously a must-win for them and for Postecoglou. There's no way they're going to set up to defend at all here. I can't see anything but this descending into a game of basketball, really, from the outset. And we know that, as you say, Spurs do like to start fast. All their attacking talent is basically available. None of their defensive players really are, which again bodes pretty well for goals. So it might be a low line, but it's still getting the best part of half an hour to get to get a goal scored, and that seems fair enough to me.
Indeed, it does. Yeah, and Spurs are threadbare. We've talked about it a lot. They do play after we recorded this, so Thursday night. So who knows what could happen there? It's quite an important Europa League game for them. They do need to get something from it to get in the top 8 there. And then they've got a arguably an even bigger game next Thursday. So this is sandwiched in between those when they've got the EFL Cup tie against Liverpool, which I think is probably what's keeping Ange in a job at the moment. If they lose that, then I think he'll be gone. But it screams early goals in this one. 4 in the reverse fixture. The first goal scored in that one was in the first minute. As in that mad run of ball, Brentford scoring in the opening minute of the game. There was actually 3 goals before this line in that one. And both meetings were lower last season. 2 goals before this line in this particular fixture. 6 of their 7 Premier League meetings so far have seen lower in this line land. We know what we're going to get, and I think that's going to be served up again this weekend.
Yeah, cracking stuff. 2 more games on the card. Next up, maybe the biggest game of the weekend in the Premier League. Arsenal hosting Manchester City. Arsenal and City both fresh after wins in Europe. City were coming back from a bit of a scare. 1-0 down at half-time, won the game 3-1. Back-to-back 3-1 wins after beating Chelsea last weekend. Arsenal also coming back and winning the game last night too. The supremacy is the mark here with Sporting Index. So the amount of goals by which the favourite will beat the underdog Arsenal favourites, 0.5, so half a goal favourites. So higher is an Arsenal win, lower is a City win or a draw. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, this is getting boring now, isn't it?
I am really surprised by that. I thought I was going against the grain.
Well, no, you're not. You're going with the grain.
Very much.
Yeah, I'll take this. You said City were back last week.
Yeah, they are back.
I don't think they are.
Oh,
that's fine.
I still don't think they are. I still think they are. They have massive defensive issues. But there was a period after Chelsea went ahead, and where Chelsea nearly went 2 ahead actually last weekend, where City suddenly turned the screw and were able to create chances at will. This will be trickier. Arsenal obviously a better side defensively. But even though I'm not convinced the City are back, I'm still really not convinced by Arsenal's performance level at the moment. Like, I don't think they're playing well. We've seen them come unstuck at home against much poorer teams. Well, I mean, they're beaten 2-0 obviously in the Carabao Cup in the first leg there. Came unstuck against Manchester United too after that. And this is, for me, a game for City. I mean, I know Arsenal obviously are trying to chase down Liverpool, have to win it as well, and the draw isn't good enough. But for City, this is a massive opportunity for them to reel Arsenal in. And I think they might be able to get something out of the game. Like, it's almost unthinkable for Arsenal to be half a goal favourites against City. Anyway, when you don't consider the Arsenal kind of form currently. So, yeah, I didn't think I'd be doing this, but I'm siding with City in this one. Jack?
Yeah, it feels a little bit of an uncomfortable one to a certain degree. I think this might be a draw. So, therefore, I'm also getting the City win on side if that isn't the case. So, I'm happy to take that. Yeah, 2 sides that are just unconvincing, really, is my way of thinking about it. And Arsenal, for me, just seem to get through games. They're just finding a player, and it's normally a different one each week, that is just doing something that's winning them a game, saving them a game, be it a Raya save, be it a set-piece goal, be it Calafiore scoring kind of out of blue. They're just finding something. But City have got so much threat going forward at the moment. They're kind of their forward players are clicking, and the best defence in the league they're coming up against. But I think they've got the tools that can really hurt them. Foden's obviously in really good form. I thought Haaland had a decent game against Chelsea with his link-up players, as well as his running off the shoulder, his assist for Foden's final goal, and obviously the goal he took well himself as well. Savinho is a bit of a game changer, and Marmoush has been one of my favourite players over the last couple of seasons, so I'm really happy that he's in the Premier League, and I thought he had a very good game against Chelsea, and his runs that he makes could be a real problem for Arsenal here.
He's going to be offside lot, isn't he?
He is. He is. Yeah, get on board with that where you can. But I think it's one of those players that you know that he's going to keep making that run. And as you say, 2-3 times he'll be offside. But when he does get it right, he's likely to go and score it. It's 15 goals in 17 Bundesliga games this season. So, yeah, a player I really, really look forward to. So, as I say, I fancy the draw. Arsenal are very strong at home. Unbeaten in 14 at home in the Premier League. And unbeaten in 4 versus City. So I think this is a tough one to call with the sides how they're playing at the moment.
Dan?
Yeah, it's huge getting both results on side here because I think it probably will be a draw. So as I say, to get that onside is great. But you spoke about the set pieces. Obviously, Arsenal are the best in the league at set pieces. Everyone knows that. I've said it a million times. But what I haven't seen said is that City are pretty good at defending against set pieces. They've conceded the fewest goal from set pieces of any team in the league this season. So I'm not saying it won't work against City, but has the least chance of working against City. So maybe they can improve defensively and keep Arsenal out from their main sort of attacking threat at the moment without Saka, etc. Aside from the defeat last time, City's form at Arsenal isn't that bad. It's actually pretty strong. So I'm hoping they can ignore that 1-0 defeat last time out there and get back to that good form. On the Marmoush stuff, I think he's going to complement Haaland so well. I mean, he's only been there a short period of time, so it might take a little while. So I'm not necessarily suggesting that happens here, but I think City fans will be quite excited about that partnership for however long they've got it. Haaland's there for the rest of his life, and however long Marmoush stays, that could be quite a prolific partnership over the next years.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting indeed. Final game before we get on to our naps. Chelsea hosting West Ham. Graham Potter returning to the scene of the crime that was his tenure in charge of Chelsea. Total goals in the market here, the Sporting Index, 3.6 is the midpoint, so 3.5 to sell, 3.7 to buy. Higher, 4 or more goals. Lower, 3 or fewer. 3, 2, 1. Yay! Did you do that on purpose? Were you waiting? And you just...
Yeah, I knew what was going now because I read your faces. It's gone lower. Slightly uncomfortable position, this one, to take in. This is a game that really could be anything. I actually fancy West Ham to get something out of this. But again, it would be an uncomfortable position, and I'm going lower on the goals. These sides create... I messaged you actually, didn't I? I said West Ham were awful. And as soon as I messaged it, they suddenly went, oh, actually, we're not. And they played really well, I thought, against Villa.
By far the better team, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought Paquetá was exceptional in that false 9 position, other than the fact that he missed several chances. I was really impressed with Wan-Bissaka out on that right-hand side in both aspects of the game. And they've got a lot about them, and they seem to really love Graham Potter. The early signs from that and the sound bites that are coming out of the club are seemingly very positive. So, as you say, a big game for him going back to Chelsea. He's had another week on the training pitches to try and get this West Ham side players they want. Rumours have come back about the fact that Bowen and Somerville were possibly considered for the last game, so they might well be featuring here somewhere along the lines. But I say these two sides missed lots of chances. That's kind of what I'm going on here as much as anything. If they click, this score could be anything. And obviously, the last couple of games have been 3-0 and 5-0, so I don't want any of that kind of stuff going on. And I thought Chelsea let City off the hook, and I think they are a little bit disjointed at the minute. Yes, they got 3 against Wolves, but that Cole Palmer chance when he went through, I think is the one you're talking about, where he just got caught in 2 minds a little bit, and it fell between 2 stools. And you mentioned Palmer as well, carrying that injury, and I think there is a little bit of a lingering ankle injury there. And I wonder if West Ham they've got some professional players. Well, they're all professional.
Get them in an ice bath.
Jeez.
Well, I look forward to having that one clipped up.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
Yeah. No,
George celebrated his nap win with the old Cole Palmer.
You're not allowed to do that.
It's got GIF written all over it, hasn't it?
I will sue you.
Sue me.
It's on camera. I will. Take you to
sue
court.
me.
Oh, don't, I haven't got the money for that.
My image rights, I belong to me, and I'm saying you can't do that.
Wow. Okay. He's made that clear.
Come on, why is there going to be loads of goals here?
Well, I think it might be 4 or more. I thought West Ham were really impressive against Villa. Not many teams create that much at Villa Park. They did. I thought they were pretty unlucky not to win the game. The way that they're starting to play, which is much more onus on a possession-based game, especially with Kilman at the heart of defence, means they could get unstuck at times against a team like Chelsea, who are able to press so effectively and able to kind of create overloads out wide in particular. I quite like the idea of Cucurella goals here, just another extra little tip, because he's getting into ridiculous positions consistently. Like when Chelsea are in possession now, he's basically playing as almost like a 10 or like a wide inside left player.
His shots on the fixed odds, Spread X did the odds on that. His odds have been very, very good just for a shot and shot on target. So keep
consistently getting to those areas. But we know that Chelsea are a really good attacking side, and so many of their games cover this line and does so comfortably. So for Graham Potter, he'll want to win this. Not that he wouldn't want to win every game, but that this is a game that for him will mean a lot, and he will throw everything at it, I'd have thought. Why do you think there are going to be goals?
Well, to be honest, I don't think I have much to add. But again, the foundation of my thinking here is I think both teams score. So there's 2 goals.
Right.
And as Jack said, I think this could unravel with both teams going for it. Like
as Jack said in his justification for why there won't be any goals.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not in a comfortable position to be in on lower here, but I just think they said the main reason is they do create lots, but they miss lots. So no striker for West Ham. But yeah, if it clicks, it could be 5-3.
And I was going to say our boy Nico, but I realise now that's not a good thing to say because that's going to be very misleading to people. But Nicholas Jackson, our boy Nicholas Jackson, is in need for some confidence. He's creating loads of chances. He scored twice against West Ham last time. Yeah, he needs to find some form, and maybe this is the game that he does that. And if he finds his shooting boots, then I think 4 is well within the realms of possibility.
Another striker being linked to the move away in Kunku.
Yeah, to a Premier League rival,
United.
maybe.
Are they rivals?
Yeah.
The Premier League
Team, yeah.
Right, time for the naps now. Best bets on the card. Dan, what is your selection?
Never guess mine.
Right, I'm going for total goals in Ipswich versus Southampton at 2.95, quite low. I've got my general theory that if it's less than 3 in the Prem, I'm going higher. But I think this is largely down to the fact that Southampton they don't have to win here, of course, but this is one of the easiest games they've got left this season. And don't get me wrong, I think Ipswich are great, hence why, great, maybe not great, are okay, and will cause Southampton lots of issues here, which is why I'm going higher. Southampton obviously concede quite a lot of goals. They've conceded 53 already this season.
King of the understatement.
Yeah, exactly. This line's landed in all of Southampton's last 5. I just think goals, and I think even if Southampton go 1-0 down, they're still going to have to come out and play because they really desperately need a result. And I think, as I've said, Ipswich can hurt them. Goals, under 3. Let's go.
Under 3. Under 3 or over 3?
Oh, I'm going.
Over 3.
Over 3.
Yeah, what was the score in the game last year between the 2?
Don't care.
Oh.
It was 1-1, wasn't it?
3-2.
Oh, there we go then. Oh, you were
trying to help
me
you.
Up. Yeah, don't. No, I appreciate it. Goals.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, Jack, what's your nap?
Well, you know me, I like to go low risk, high reward, but I've thrown it out the window this week. So I'm going, you've blown my cover. Wolves, Aston Villa. I'm going cross bookings here. The midpoint is 655. So do bet wisely and accordingly. Obviously, this is a very high risk line. If there's 0 bookings for either or both these sides, then this line settles at 0 and you lose 655 times your stake. So not a pretty position to be in. I don't think there will be 0 bookings in this one. Reminder, 10 points for yellow, 25 points for red. One player max is 35 points. These two don't really like each other, do they?
No.
Yes, they're mid-table in the disciplinary table. Andy Madley's the referee, averages 4.5 cards per game, so it's not too bad. The reverse fixture saw 1,800 points, 3 yellow cards for Wolves, 6 for Villa, or the other way around actually. Last season here saw 1,100 points made up with 55 and 20. At Villa it was 1,200 points made up with 30 and 40. And before that it was 900. So the last 4 have all cleared this line easily. So this fixture is always one that I look out for as far as cards every season. Because of the COVID season, no fans, and it's still kicked off.
Yeah.
There was 4,675 points made up in that fixture, and I've profited quite well from it. So, yes, it's always got a fond place in my heart. So I hope for a good referee. Madley's not too bad. So, yeah, that's the one. Higher, obviously, I'm going.
Yeah, I've got a similar angle where there are some rivalries which kind of fly under the radar as being not like headline, and so therefore they're not really priced into the market, but they are rivalries. We've got a similar thing on Friday night. Like, I always think derby games are never played at night because of policing and other things, but sometimes you still get these needle games that are, and that can really help the way that it unravels. And we've got Blackburn-Preston Friday night on Sky, and Blackburn's main rivals are Burnley, Preston's main rivals are Blackpool, but there was quite a long period of time where Blackpool were in League One, Burnley were in the Premier League, and then this rivalry really kicked on,
manifested.
Yeah, and now it's, even though and also Preston don't like Burnley either, and now Burnley have obviously been in the Championship a bit, but this has become a bit of a game, and I'm not sure. I'm doing the same market cross bookings. 830 is the midpoint, so a bit higher, but what you've got to factor into here is that Preston have the worst disciplinary record in the whole of the Championship. 8 yellow cards and 4 reds already. We've already seen a Blackburn game against Burnley early on in the season go absolutely crazy with reds and yellows and everything else there. Preston play a really aggressive, high press game under Paul Heckingbottom, which lends itself well to cards. We've got Josh Smith on the whistle, who's averaging 4.4 yellows per game. What I also like is he normally averages 0.12 reds per game in the Championship. He's only given 1 this season. He's due. So, yeah, I'm the same market as you in that one.
He was in charge of Burnley Leeds the other night, wasn't he? Was it him? I think he was.
How do you remember anything about that game?
Well, that's the one thing I did remember. Josh Smith was in charge of it.
The worst game.
It was terrible, wasn't it?
Of all time.
Not a great advert for Championship.
No, it wasn't. It was a bit of a shame. That brings this episode of Higher or Lower to a close. Thank you very much to Jack and to Dan for sharing their tips, thoughts, insight. Definitely with Jack. And make sure you check out SportyX and SpreadX for all of your spread betting needs. There is a link in the show description, a new customer-only offer there too. So check that out. T's and C's do apply. And do remember that with spread betting, losses can exceed your initial deposit. Oddschecker have you covered for all fixed odds betting needs. WhoScored.com have all the stats to help you inform your bet. Dan obviously forgot about that this morning. Sorry, mate. I'm having a real go at you.
It's okay, mate.
Enjoy the weekend's football. We'll be back again next week. Please ensure that you're gambling responsibly.